evening, everybody. Welcome to the live show. It's a Sunday night. I hope everybody had a great Mother's Day, all you great mothers out there, and a great weekend. And let's see what the market's going to do because, holy cow, we have deals with China and everything else. So everybody hop on, like I was saying. Hope everybody had a great weekend, great Mother's Day, and all information presented here is for educational and informational purposes only. It's not intended as financial advice, so always do your due diligence. How is everybody tonight? Let me just shoot over here, and that is the heat map from before, but this thing's going to be lit up green. We already know it is. The futures are way up. I'll let some people hop on. How about that RGC? That thing went nutty on Friday. That was a nice pick, huh? I mean, we had it. Remember, we were just talking about it being down here, and like we were in the fours with this thing. I mean, way down there. And this thing's at like the 366 range and could still move up tomorrow in the top. So might want to keep an eye on that RGC right there. How about that NXTT? That thing was running up big. I think Laptop Travel, somebody mentioned this thing, and that thing just shot right up there. So a bunch of them. And this GIBO, I had looked at this thing, and it was trying to jump up, and I think this one could try to continue, but we'll go over them, and we'll see what's going on. I was just letting some people hop on. So there we go, and let's get fired up and see what's happening here. What's going to be our fresh poppers for this week, and see what's going to run like that RGC, which ran over 2,600% or something like that. I don't even know. It was like ridiculous for us. We were down there way lower, but here we go. Let's look at that logic mark because that one's going to be an interesting one. They did file their 8K or some kind of form. I know that, and it is not looking bad here. I know it pulled back a little, and it does have that crazy look right there because it opened and closed on the exact same spot. Look at that on the FinViz. But we'll come over here and take a better look at it, and you can see it jumped up 0.0105, and it did close a little bit higher there, so that's always a good look. And then it got down. That high was almost at 2 cents, and it closed right there at that 0.0132. So it is up a little bit, curled up, looking good to get over to 20. And I think it could be a good one. It does have that interesting look, like it wants to pop out of the basement and get cruising there. So you know we're going to be watching this bad boy in the morning right there. And we have like that logic mark, especially when it was under a penny. And we just talked about this RGC, and I mean, this thing got fired up there. It's still fired up. And I would obviously keep an eye on it for a momentum play right there because it could continue to run up there. I mean, it is a monster, that's for sure. So if you were in it, it was a beauty. I mean, this thing's running up like $100 each day. It's wild right there. RGC. And there it is, no options. I looked on my E-Trade. I didn't see them. I was just curious if they were offered somewhere else. I forgot to look the other day, but there are no options, but it's still a great one that was flying up there. Anyway, here we go. Let's continue right here and look at that DXF. Oh, what am I doing? I got to go back in the stock detail. And here we go. This thing is getting set up, guys. This is one of them China ones that we talked about last week, DXF. And look at it, was running up there. And look at that setup happening, curling up, looking good. You might want to keep an eye on DXF right there. And I'm just going to make sure. How is everybody this evening? I'm just going to make sure real quick because I forgot to look. And the audio is good. Okay, I was just making sure that it was the right microphone there. And how is everybody tonight? Daniel Lewis, I see Valeria, and Luis Rodriguez, and Chris, and so many other people hopping on. How is everybody? Hope we all had a great weekend and enjoyed the Mother's Day today, and all the wonderful mothers had a great day and got to enjoy themselves. It was a beautiful day around here. I hope you guys had some nice weather and all that good stuff. And then the market was popping with some great news from some about that China and U.S. trade talks looking good. And who else was talking about that happening very soon? I mean, we are usually on point with the events, and the charts just tell it all. It's not like I just make these things up. I think you guys following along long enough know that these charts tell you everything that's going to happen. And I've been saying it, and I might not have been 100% accurate exactly how it is playing out. And But I mean, look at that. They're talking, and I was saying, it wasn't dipping down. They have this thing under control. And you could see today they're talking and they have this thing under control. I mean, look at this bad boy. So there we are. And DXF, these China ones, I'd be watching these things to get cruising. So obviously keep an eye on this thing tomorrow, because that could be a great one. And this Green Lane, guys, could be a little bit wild. I meant to look and see exactly what the news. I'll post it out. Somebody mentioned it to me, and I forget who it was. It was the other day, and I honestly meant to write it down before I hopped on it. And let me just take a look and see if I see it. And I don't. It must have been a post, and I forget exactly. But I'll have to look into this thing, this Green Lane, and see what it's doing. They were saying that they could delist very soon. So if anybody has any info on Green Lane, GNLN, any updated information, let us know. Obviously, I just go by the stock chart, and we were watching it. I liked it under a penny, obviously, and I was saying, maybe it'll get that bounce right there. So we'll keep an eye on it. And again, I'm not exactly sure what the news is. I'll look around and see if I see anything for GNLN, but I'm not exactly sure. And I think they filed paperwork to prevent delisting. Russ Burke just said so. Good possibility that they filed their paperwork. So we'll see. And I know you can get the news somehow on these things, and I forget what to do. But anyway, we'll look at it and see what's going on. And like I said, it didn't look too bad to close there. And I knew I like it way under a penny, basically where we're at. So we'll see where we're at. And in 30 to 45 days, they should know more, and looking at a share buyback. So I'm thinking that is Green Lane, what he's talking about right there, I'm assuming. And so, yeah, we'll look into that. Thank you very much, Russ. Appreciate that. And again, we'll look into it tomorrow morning. We'll see exactly what's going on with Green Lane, and we'll obviously go from there and look and see if it's a good buy, or if it's going to pull back, or what it wants to do, or if it's going to get delisted. We'll see what's happening with it. We'll really look into it, and I'll find that news. Somebody else was mentioning something, so I'll see exactly what they were talking about as well. And there you go. So that is our GNLN right there. Good old Green Lane. And that one, obviously, it could get popping, but we don't want to get in it if it's getting delisted or anything crazy. So we will be keeping an eye on it tomorrow. I'll put a big line next to it, so we obviously know to keep an eye and watch what's happening with that. And NIVF, this one started to run up again and wasn't looking bad. Look at that curling up right there, trying to get back up onto the 20 NIVF right here. And it was running up there on Friday. 403 is 7 and back to 310. I don't even know if I saw it come back down that far. We'll have to look at this in the morning. It did close up there and did say it pulled back a little bit, but it did run up. I know that on Friday. I kind of forgot what it did, and I guess it did pull back there. So we'll keep an eye on it and see what it's doing. And IVF, I didn't put it on the list, but I was just thinking about it. And it's in that channel. Could have a little bit of pullback right here, IVF. And this one was a runner last week, and it could just be getting set up again. So we'll keep an eye on that one. And this LGCB, I was saying it was looking good. It ran up on Friday, and it still looks kind of crazy, guys. So keep an eye on this Linkage Global. I don't know what they have going on, but it did look good. And look at that look right there, curling up, and it was up 197 to 204. It closed at 203 and looks pretty good. And we were talking about this last week, and I was saying it was looking good. And you can tell down here it was getting set up. So there you go with LGCB, good old Linkage Global. And NVNI, this one was popped up last week and just kind of flattened out, but it had them run-ups right there on Friday and almost every other day right there. Look at it. It was spiking up, running around a lot. Ran up a little bit of pullback. I think we'll have to reevaluate this one tomorrow in the morning just to see what it wants to do after the weekend. It has that run-up look, but it could pull back a little bit to set back up off the MACD. So that's what it looks like right there off of that look. And we will keep an eye on it. And again, they do run up and then crawl right back up. So they're great opportunities. And that's why a lot of these have been staying on the list for a little longer than they usually would in the past, because they have been just great opportunity after great opportunity. They've run up, pull back a little bit, and run up. And then Laptop Travel said that GNLN is facing potential NASDAQ delisting notice due to a shareholder dilution. The company plans to submit a compliance plan and is considering trading on OTCQB. So there you go. And I did see something else. Somebody else had mentioned that exact same thing, and it wasn't even Laptop Travel. So that's why I was going to say I wanted to see exactly what the other person had said. I meant to look before we hopped on, and I totally forgot. I'm not going to lie, but that I'm almost positive is what the other person was saying about that GNLN. So that's why I was saying we'll take a look at it and see what it wants to do in the morning. But it is under a penny where I liked it, but we want to make sure it's not getting delisted and hopping onto the OTC market. So we'll be watching that thing tomorrow and keep an eye on it. And this bond, I think, is going to be a great opportunity. I've been telling you guys, I think this thing's getting set up again. BON right here, and you can see it tried to run up, and I think it's going to try to do it again. So we might want to keep an eye on BON right here, especially this week. A China one right there, and it did look good to me. So I've been thinking it looked good probably all week, and it does look pretty good right there. So that is BON, and we'll keep an eye on that. Oh, and I wasn't looking at PAL, but I was going to look at the pineapple guy. But since I put Proficient Auto Logistics in PAL, I'm not familiar with it, but we'll take a look at it. It just had its earnings last week on May 7th on Wednesday, and it looks like it's pulling back there, and it's going to be dipping down. So this PAL looks like it's pulling back, and we'll see how far PAL wants to pull down. But I was trying to get to this one, Pineapple Financial, PAPL right here, and we've been watching it. It was curling up a little bit there on Friday, and I'm telling you, this one has some potential, and I think it's going to be curling up this week, looking way better down here in the bottom. And it had just been trading at what up here, like 19.27 cents, and even higher in the 30s, and our opportunities down here at like 12 and 11. So I love it when it's down there like that. So we're watching this thing to try to curl up, and obviously we're just watching it to curl up. We're not even sure it'll get through. We don't really care. Just take that quick little opportunity, run it up and get in and out, and then it'll be a good little trade right there and build your confidence. But FFAI, this one was the Nader special right here. I think that's what we got to call this. And I think it is just, remember, we even said, I mean, we called this one perfectly. Nader called it perfect, but at the top said it was probably going to get back into this channel and into the 20. I don't think it's ready yet, but it might pull back a little bit this week just into that channel again, into that 20. So just watch it right here, but I do think it's getting set up, and it does like to run in the month of May. So it does have a week or two left, that's for sure, and it could get cruising relatively soon. So keep an eye on FFAI, and we've been keeping that on here, and that was a great one from Nader. And CLBR is that one that Trump Jr. tweeted out, and we've been watching and actually saw it pull back, and it did look good. It ran up Thursday and Friday, not looking bad, hitting that top though. So we'll have to see how it opens up here. If you're not in it, I would just see how that opens up. It does look like it wants to get into the top, but I'm not promising you. You can see it could get knocked down to set back up possibly. So had to take a better look at that on tomorrow morning, Monday morning after a weekend. So that's CLBR, and that Steakhouse or Stakeholder. I knew I was going to say it. The Stakeholder was rolling up there the other day, looking pretty prime. And this thing is trying to curl up, and check this bad boy out, STKH. And it's trying to get set up. It was trying to move right there. So watch this thing this week, and it does look really good right there. I think it did pull back a hair in the after hours. Nothing crazy, but yeah, it does look pretty good for that Stakeholder Foods. So keep an eye on that one right there. And that hit was running up there on Friday, and it had that look like it does want to continue, but I can't promise you. It does have that channel right there, and it could go either way. You could see. I mean, it could have a little bit of healthy pullback back to the 20. It does have that look, though. But again, another one. We were down here, guys, and I actually had this one. That's why we had kept it on there, and I knew that little dip right there was a beauty. At 55, I caught it like 58, 59, and it ran right up, and I did get out of it. I have a feeling it might run up some more tomorrow, but it is what it is. I didn't want to hold it over the weekend. I couldn't tell what the heck it wanted to do, and it might even go crazy tomorrow. But again, not worrying about it. It could run all the way up there, and so we'll see in the morning what hit. But it was a nice little hit right there. I'm not gonna lie, so I'm not gonna complain because we nailed that one, and that's what sometimes you just have to be patient on it and know that that setup's happening. And if it wasn't a Friday, might have been a different story about, 80-20 in it, or, scaling out of it. But being that it was a Friday, I wasn't going to risk it. So, yeah, I just took it and have that cash and that hit and then take it into this week. And it'll work out perfect because there'll be some great poppers tomorrow to put that money into. So that works out well. And that was HIT. So I'll definitely be watching it tomorrow. I'm just curious as to what it's going to do there. But there you go. And that JBDI, if I typed it in right, Zach's talking about this thing. And I had said in the morning it pulled back there. It was at its low at like 108 when I had mentioned it Friday. And it had just poked its head into the basement. And you could get a squeezer out of this one in the morning, JBDI. So keep your eye on that, because I was saying it got into the top right there. And that's what I was talking about. And it does have that squeeze look. And, he's got it talking about it and people are buying it. So keep an eye. What was the volume? 2.6 million. So not too bad there. 4.211 the day before. So not bad, but it is in the top. I would definitely be looking at it in the morning, and maybe it just runs up early in the morning, but it could be a runner there tomorrow. So keep your eye on that JBDI and obviously watch for any pullback on it as it like tries to move around. And how about this UOKA? I'm telling you guys, how about we knew that bottom was right there at that 10 cents. It's at almost 14. It did run up to like 15. I know that. And this thing is a great one. I told you, this thing you can almost play like with no problem, and it curled through. We didn't even know if it would, but it did. And this thing could get cruising. And again, it's a UK real estate one, and they just made that deal with the UK, and now they're trying to make one with China, and things are popping right now. What was I talking about? Trade deals were going to be probably already on the table happening like that, and things they had this master plan, and Trump was going to have it working out. And I wasn't concerned one bit, guys, and that's why, because the charts looked really good, and they were telling us that things were looking good, and that's what you have to look at. I don't watch the news clearly for a reason, because I give you guys the events before they happen, weeks before they happen. We give it out, and that's exactly what the news and the media could never ever do. And honestly, it's just because these stock charts don't lie. They just tell you exactly what's going on all the time. It's quite amazing, and that's how I really got into it. I was always fascinated by that. Once I realized that was the case, and I was like, wow, that's pretty wild. And it's never let me down, as you guys can see. I mean, you guys that follow along know what I've called in the last year, just alone on this show. I mean, that's not talking about other events prior, but you guys know what I've done on the show alone. So, we're not lying about anything there. And yeah, these charts just tell you when things are setting up, whether it's aerospace and defense or anything. You have these looks, and if you know what to look for and certain places to look at certain things, you can just tell what's going on a lot of times. And we do it all the time on this show, and we have fun doing it. So those of you just tuning in, appreciate you tuning in. It is the live show here. We do it every night, Sunday night through Thursday nights at 9 p.m. And then we do a pre-market show at 7 a.m. Monday through Friday. So let's roll right through our list, and I make a list each week or each night, and then some of them roll back over into the next day, and then I ask you guys what you guys want to see. But yeah, that UOKA is pretty OKA right there. And good old HEPA right here was running up last week, remember, and it ran up, and it never really even got out of the basement, which I was surprised because it had been in there for a while. But we'll try to see if it wants to get out and get moving this week again. It is not looking bad. Maybe a little healthy pullback Friday. So keep your eye on HEPA right there as well, because that could be a decent one. And of course, our clue right here, one of these Chinese ones had, I always look at it right there. I knew that was wrong. I almost said it too. I know it's at the bottom, not at the top. And it is just hitting that 20 right there. And I think it's going to get rolling off, guys. And I think this one, and like I said, this is one of them ones that could get wild really, really quick. And, Again, nothing crazy about it. China Liberal Education. It is a education and training services. I don't even know what they do, and it doesn't even matter. But it is looking pretty good. And I know we've been watching it from down here, and it ran up there. But I do think that's getting set up. So we are keeping our eye on that clue and to see what it wants to do. And like I said, they could run pretty wild right there. And here is that icon right now. And look at this bad boy making a bottom, and it's been in the basement. This one's been in there a long time, and it's trying to make that base to get moving now, guys. So it might be one that you guys want to keep an eye on. ICON right there, because that one could be getting cruising. It could make a base and want to move this week a little bit more. And this ALLR, this one was trying to run up a little bit more last week, was it, or the week before? And then it was pulling back, making a base, but it has that nice trend line. And we have to see what it wants to do. It was getting into that line last week. I don't remember what it was doing. It looks like it was crossing down, but could easily in that spot pull itself up and roll up with no problem. So just watch for that tomorrow on ALLR if you've been watching that one. And our Wang and Lee right here, WLGS. Good old Wang and Lee. I'm telling you now, this one's getting to be in the right spot now to start up the week. Hong Kong one. We've been tracking it down for a little while, and we just watch these things. But I think Wang and Lee right there could be a good one for this week. So definitely keep your eye, guys, especially in the morning. See if this thing's really cruising around yet. WLGS, and we'll keep an eye on it. You can see that trend line coming down, that 20. Remember, we were talking about them possibly coming down at the same time, and it would get crazy. Well, there you go, and it's a Hong Kong one, and it could get crazy. And LRHC was that real estate one. LRHC, La Rosa Holdings. I couldn't remember the name of it. And I think this one is trying to get set back up. It did run up to that 40 something cents not long ago, and then came right back down, ran right there. And then it did come back down, crossed through, came through, and then crossed right back through pretty quick. And now it's curling back up. And I just think it has like some kind of run in it right here. So you can keep your eye on LRHC and the good old Lion LGHL. LGHL. Sorry, guys. The Lion LGHL right there. And this is curling up really good, guys. And we do watch this thing quite often. The good old Lion. It's in that channel. It could easily run up to that 388 and even get cruising. So keep an eye on your line. And we'll just look at our cheetah real quick. CTMT. There we go. And they just had their earnings last week on Cinco de Mayo. We are talking about the cheetah, and look at this. It is trying to make that quick curl up right there. So we'll see if the cheetah wants to run. Look at it, guys. Hey, the cheetah might be a runner this week also. So I didn't write it down, but CTNT. And we'll look at JAGX just because we looked at the cheetah and the lion. And we'll look at the Jaguar. And JAGX had been way up there. It is pulling back there. We'll see what it wants to do off of this 20 right there. So that's what JAGX is doing at the moment. And that one could get rolled off. I'd have to look at it tomorrow. I can't exactly tell. And I'll even look at the red cat right here, RCAT, and see what that's doing. And that one is rolling up. That looks good right there, that computer hardware. And I know we looked at some of them quantum ones and computer hardware. As a matter of fact, our RGTI did pull back. What am I typing in? RGTI was pulling back there, and then it shot up at the end of the day. I guess it pulled back a little bit, but we were watching it all day Friday, obviously, because Luis Rodriguez did like it. And there you go. We opened at 1040. It got down to 1004, and people are probably like, damn. And then all of a sudden it was in the 1060s and closed at 1055. So it did look good. I had that little dip action in the morning, and that is looking good right there. And well, we might as well finish off them guys in QUBT just because we made a little side little turn right there. But QUBT does look good. Their earnings are coming up on the 15th, which is today is the 11th. So yeah, that's Thursday right there. So QUBT does have their earnings on Thursday. Not looking bad for tomorrow. after Friday, so keep an eye on that, and we'll just go through the rest of these QBTS. Oh, I can't type tonight now for some reason, but D-Wave Quantum, that one was running up. Keep an eye on that to have a little momentum in the morning, guys. That one could keep it, and we were looking at that, and QMCO pull back a little bit, and it is just kind of hanging out right there, trying to get set up, nothing real crazy. And QTUM right here was up, and that is the Defiance Quantum ETF, and it is getting towards the top there. It did look good. And IONQ was down a little bit, pulling back. It was up the day before, and it was running around there. I know that 32.64, and it came down to 29.93. Its highs and lows, and it does have some support right there at that 30. So that is your IONQ right there. And let's see, and that Z space is the last one. And let's see, that one's trying to get set up. We'll see what it wants to do. But there you go with your computer hardware and them guys, and your quantum ones. And yeah, there's your Z space just kind of hanging out. And they do have earnings coming up on the 14th, which is Wednesday. So there you go with that look. But yeah, RGTI not looking bad at all, and that was one. And we'll see if we like anything else tonight. But yeah, there you go. It is cruising along there and looking pretty good, I must say. So we'll keep our eye on that one, and let's keep on cruising right here. So we took a little left turn there with the Lion and went through the big cats and then the quantum and hardware ones, computer hardware. So now we'll get back to Onco right here. And for those of you that are wondering what the heck we're even looking at, I make a list each night, and a lot of them we just kind of shift over. I'll try to cut some of them out this week, but like I said, a lot of them been running up here and then setting right back up, so they're kind of hard to cut off right now. There's so many great opportunities. So it's one of them things where you don't want to go through that many, but there are so many great opportunities. So it is what it is. And I ask you guys what you guys want to see. And if you want to look at something that's not on the list, post it up and we'll definitely go through them. So I see a bunch of people posting there. Michael Anthony and Laptop Travel and Doge Mama 9. How are you? And happy Mother's Day to all you great mothers out there. So yeah, and we'll try to cruise through. I'll try to cruise through real fast because it is Mother's Day and let people get some rest. So let me just cruise right through it, and I'll rip through the messages at the end there. And here we go, ABVE. This one is a great pullback one. Obviously, it took a big dip. It was in the top, so let's just see what it wants to do. It said it was trying to move a little bit in the after hours. I didn't really see it going crazy or anything, not that I remember. Yeah, it's just pulling back still. Nothing crazy right there for ABVE. And good old Holo, this one keeps pulling back. It was trying to get set up. It ran up Thursday, and it still doesn't look that bad. It's in a good spot, in a decent spot, trying to curl up. So keep an eye on this Holo. I think it's trying to base out to get curled up here. So that could be an opportunity this week. And TRNR, that interactive strength right here, is getting that interactive strength. It needs it though, because it's way down. And let's see if it can get through that 20 right there. And that's at like 77 cents, and we're at 70. And it could get into that channel again. But yeah, it's pulled back quite a bit. But it did look pretty good last week or the week before, I forget. And then it pulled back a little bit more. And now it's obviously looking way better. As you can see, it was pulling back. That looked like the bottom. And you could have some run up, pull back, and run up there. So that's TRNR. And let's see what the interactive strength that thing has. And this FMTO is trying to get to be in a good spot as well. It was right there trying to run up, and it's just kind of flat. You would think it was getting set up a little bit better, FMTO. And let's see, it's right on that 20. So this is one of them ones that has that look where it could just pop off at any moment. You can't like guarantee anything, but just keep an eye on it. That FMTO right there. And it does have that trend line coming through, and it just has that look like I said, it does want to do something. HKPD, we've looked at this one. This is that other Hong Kong one, and I think this is going to get rolled off and try to get moving this week, guys, because it was looking pretty good on Friday, as you can see, getting to the 20.89 to $1. It's at 94. So keep an eye on HKPD right there, because we all know that could be a mover. And that's CNEY. That was setting up pretty nice and moving along. And let's see, it was running up last week. Look at them run ups and look at that setup right there. And it was curling up to get into the top. So you might want to keep an eye on that, especially in the morning, guys. Momentum play. Look at this thing. So keep an eye and see if that has a little momentum right there. CNEY. And this pony's been running like a pony right now. This thing's been running up, and we looked at it way early, way down here as it was getting set up, and it's still in the top, guys. So you could still look at this pony to try to run up some more. If I know how to spell pony, Pony, there is no E in it. But anyway, here you go. It is getting set up. It does look like it's trying to top out. Look at all them days it ran up there, but keep an eye on it in the morning, see if it gets that momentum. And it doesn't have earnings until next week there, but it is in the top. But anything could happen after the weekend, so be careful riding it too long for that pony, but it could run up a little bit there. And XYZ is Block or something. Yeah, Block Inc. And that is up 25 cents right there, trying to curl up. What did I say it was? XYZ. That's what it is. And we've been watching it and we knew that was bottomed out. It did run up a little bit. Is it going to get through? I'm not exactly sure, but it did run up a little bit for us and we kind of knew it. And we're at off this support 44 to 50. I mean, that's not even bad right there for Block. So there you go. A nice little run up for XYZ. And again, hitting that, we'll look at it tomorrow, hitting that MACD. We'll take a better look. And this bull was running up last week and not looking bad. And another one trying to curl up a little bit better right there. And we'll obviously look at bull right here, web bull, and you can see maybe it has a little bit of pullback. And as I said, I don't know. We're not convinced that they're exactly ready to curl through on their first one, especially on these big ones. And but they do run up quite a bit. So you can catch that pop up and then on the way down and then catch it again. And that's how we've been watching them for sure. And that is bull. And that EL Estee Lauder was looking pretty good and jumped up to the 50 right there. We were looking at it early. And let's see if it wants to get through that 50. It could pull back a little bit into the channel and get set back up. We'll look at it tomorrow, but it wasn't looking bad and it did move. But this ELF looks like it's trying to get set back up, guys. So keep an eye on ELF, ELF. Look at it making a base. It could pull back a little to roll up. You can see it trying to set up right here. So there you go with ELF. I don't see any earnings or anything. So that could be a decent one, ELF. And that MST is at MicroStrategy something, leveraged one. And it was up a little bit, just bouncing around right there. Not a whole lot of data because it's brand spanking new, but they do pay dividends like once a week or something. So we'll see what it wants to do right there, but could be a great one to just hop in early. And let's see what else is going on. Like I said, we'll fly through TTD. We did like that for the bounce, and it did bounce quite a bit. That momentum play right into the top, and it could continue tomorrow. So keep an eye on TTD because that was looking really good. That trade desk went nutty right there. And we did like that. And this BTOG, what's John Hancock? That's BTO. That's a close-ended fund. It's not looking too bad right there. But anyway, BTOG is at Bit Origin. And this thing's trying to get set up, guys. Check this out. So getting to be in a pretty good spot. The 20's trying to curl up. The 50's not looking bad. So keep an eye. We'll keep an eye on this BTOG. We've been watching it. Look at that crazy look. Open and close right around the same spot. We love that in 2 days in a row. So keep an eye on BTOG. We've been liking it. And this ZKIN, I know this was on our list the other day because we wrote it down at the bottom. And I guess we had talked about it, looked at it, or saw it on the scan or something. But it jumped up there Thursday and probably a momentum play or something. And boom, look at that thing gapped up because on Thursday, I'll tell you exactly where it was. On Thursday, it did close at, it ran up to 565, but it closed at 407, and then it went up to 421 to 518 and back to 354. So see what it wants to do. It could be a pullback after the weekend, but that one was a big one right there. And how about Lulu right here? And that one's pulling back a little bit, huh? That one does look like it's trying to pull back. Let me see what they're up to right here. 283 to 284 and then 279. And it does look like it's going to try to pull back. It's not going to get to its 50 right there. So That is interesting, but it does look like it's going to get set up. We'll just have to see what it pulls back to right there. So that is Lulu right there. And let me see what else we were looking at. Devs, DEVS. And this thing was not looking bad. Just a little bit of healthy pullback, to be honest. Look at it run up. Almost has that look like it wants to curl back up right here, as you can see. Has a weird look, though, so I'd have to look at it in the morning, but I'm just telling you, it has that weird look, so keep your eye on that early in the morning, too. And how about this Deckers right here, because this one had run up the last few days. Did pull back a little bit, I guess, on Friday. It did right there, but again, another one had run way up there for us, and we had liked that. And Luis Rodriguez, and we were watching this down here, and now it's going to get set up to roll up a little bit more. So keep an eye on Deckers, DECK. We'll watch that as it pulls back there to set back up. And that is your DECK, good old Deckers right there. And let's look at Cody. Remember, we said look at this for the bounce right there. And you know what it did on Friday? It bounced. And it had that look. I mean, and I said it might not be crazy, but it will look like a little bounce play. And there you go, 681 to 723. It's something. And it closed at 690. You can't really tell exactly after the weekend if it's going to go up. It could pull back and try to make a base down there. So. But it did look like it wanted to bounce the other day. And how about UCAR? This thing looks like it's curling up. It is a China, that truck and car dealership or something like that. And UCAR looks like it wants to get driving, guys. So a little bit of pullback right there. It looks like 302 to 288. This one looks like a totally different chart than that one, huh? I'd have to look at that tomorrow. It's at 302. I mean, the prices are the same. They just look a little bizarre. And I'm going to look at UCAR tomorrow. I thought it was looking good as well, but again, both charts are a little odd right now. And AGMH right here, this one was trying to set back up. Remember, it ran up and then it pulled back to curl up. Here comes your 20 to meet it. Let's just see what it's doing right now, AGMH. And yeah, look at that thing trying to get set up, curl up, and could get cruising. Now it's out of that channel, and there's a lot more room. So might want to keep an eye on that AGMH because that one could be a good runner again. And TNON, remember, this is that one that went like $4 to 125 one morning at 4 a.m. It was wild. Tenon Medical, and we saw it the other day, and it was just like, whoa, look at it. I remember I saw it, I think, Thursday, and then it did run up there Friday. It's not looking too bad there, so we might keep an eye on this TNON. And yeah, just grabbed my attention the other day, and there you go. 113 to 116, that's where it closed. So look for that one to try to run up a little bit more. TNON and UNH, this one was way down, United Health, and we're just watching to see how far this thing wants to dip down, and it's just trying to curl up. Maybe you have a little bounce up this week, possibly, as it goes like this, but it looks like it's going to try to bounce down some more, to be honest with you. It does not look like it wants to get through like that. I'd be surprised. So we'll be keeping an eye on UNH to see when it's ready. And UPS right here, down a little bit the other day. It did try to run up on Friday, and we'll see. It's in that channel, but pulling back. And I know UPS, like I said, they got a lot of robotic stuff going on and all kinds of stuff. So I'm not exactly sure what's going on with the company, but it's looking a little flat and could pull back a hair. It was looking a little bit better the other day. We'll definitely have to watch UPS and readdress that one tomorrow morning, see what it's doing in the morning. And LXRX right here, up a penny, and let's see, trying to curl up, pull back a little bit. Let me see. That has a couple mixed looks right there. Yeah, it's not looking bad. I mean, it could pull itself up and roll up. Keep an eye on this LXRX in the morning, guys. It could get cruising over 3 million in volume right there. And let's see what else is going on with our SNDL. This is SNDL Inc., and it is a cannabis type company right here. And I'm just hitting the wrong button. And there we go. And it looks like it's just been pulling back. They did run up the other day. Yeah, I mean, it could be trying to get set up, but we'd have to see if it's actually going to really get set up and run. You see the 20 coming down. It looks kind of bearish right now at the moment on SNDL. And let's see that YHC. We haven't looked at that LQR house. And this thing was trying to run up there Friday. It's still in the basement. L or Y, what the heck? YHC. That's what it is. And yeah, it did try to run there on Friday, 188 to 420. Took a smoke break on the Vineyard, and it closed at 254 because it is a beverage and winery distillery one. And I'd have to look at that on Monday to see what it really wants to do right there, or tomorrow morning to see if it wants to roll up some more. And let's look at top right here, TOP. And that's Top Financial, and that is a Hong Kong one. That's looking pretty nice too, TOP. And it did run up 118 to 123, a little bit of pullback to 116. So we'd have to see what it wants to do tomorrow. It was looking pretty good right there until it had a little bit of pullback. But yeah, that's could easily move back up with no problem. And HKD is that one that we've talked about, is kind of like HKPD. And this thing is getting set up. And guys, this thing ran to like $2,000 before, like when it first opened. And that's why we talk about that HKPD. It's the same underwriters. But yeah, look at this HKD is trying to get rolling. And this is like a France one, but I think they have some China ties. I'm not exactly sure. But this thing did get nuts. Look at it. When it first, and this isn't a reverse split, it ran up to 555, and it started way down here at like 20s, 18, kind of lower. Yeah, like $2, and it ran all the way to 2000 and some. I remember it happening. So it was pretty crazy. I'm not going to lie. And that is HKD. So let's see. Maybe it'll get wild again. And that would be kind of wild. And if these China ones can start running like that again, we talked about this GIBO right here. And let's take a look and see, because it was bouncing back up right there. We talked about at the beginning, and it was running up there on Friday. Hey, keep an eye on it. It could try to run back up 375 to 933. The low is 285, and it's at 592 right now. And it could try to continue its way up right there for GIBO. And good old WeBuy right here was trying to cruise up. And this one seems to be a new one. I thought this one was already running. I was kind of confused when WeBuy looked like it was new. I was like, didn't we trade this one before? But I'm completely confused with it. But apparently, I guess it's new in 996 to 2885. Yeah, when I have no idea what happened, but it's a Singapore one. And like I said, I swore that we used to trade it before. I'm not exactly sure what the heck happened. And maybe someone bought it out. I have no idea. Reinstated listing on NASDAQ Capital. So maybe that's what happened. I have no idea. But I just remember trading that one before. And that is WeBuy right there. And let's see what our NXTT is doing, because that one went really crazy. Next Technology right there was jumping up, that's for sure. NXTT. And it went 32 cents to 567. It's at 338. So that's quite a run up for Next Technology. And like I said, I'm pretty sure Laptop Travel was talking about it. And you can take a look at that one and see if it wants to keep the momentum. And that ASST was definitely running up there. That was a great assist that we had, because we had this one way down here and it jumped way up there. And that one could be trying to top out after that massive run. So just be careful on that one. But that was a great assist and an alley-oop right there. MFI right here, MF International, looked like it was trying to roll up and bounce up right there, up 8 cents on Friday. 59 to 69, 10 cents right there, but it closed at 66. So there you go. And it was down to 55, but not looking bad. That setup, that curl up for MFI right there. And KXIN, let's see what this is doing real quick. This is trying to curl up, and that's not looking bad. Might want to keep an eye on KXIN. A bunch of good ones on here, but obviously just trying to pick out the absolute best ones, because there's so many great opportunities. And this KXIN 92 to 110, it's at 102 and not looking bad. So keep an eye on that, KXIN. And let's see, XBP What is that? That's at XBio or something, right? XBP. Let's see. There it is. XBP Europe Holdings. Then we look at this the other day or something, and it does look like it's trying to crawl back up right there. XBP. Let me see. XBP. There we go. And yeah, that's not looking bad, guys. Keep an eye on that XBP right there. That looks like it's crawling back up. And NVVE, let's see what that's up to right here. NVVE, that was up $1.64, and that's in the top. I would say I wrote that down for a momentum play, that's for sure. And yeah, look at that spike up 115 to 355, and it's only at 150, 155. So just be careful with that one, but you can look at it in the morning if it wants some momentum. And WORX, this works, was running up Thursday, pulling back Friday. Let's see what it's up to now. WORX. Oh, WORX. There we go. And let's see, it was jumping up there. I mean, I'd have to look at that one tomorrow to see exactly. It looks like it's going to be pulling back to me. I'm not going to lie, but I could look at it and see if it wants to do anything different. And PTPI, guys, this thing's still trying to get set up. It was down the other day and it did run up some, but it pulled back. And remember, as they start setting up, they do exactly this. They pop up higher and then they close lower than the day before. And I don't know what the heck I have on there, but there's PTPI, and you can see it 12, almost 13 to 20, and down to 10, and closed under 12. So, and now it's hitting. We'll see if it can get crossed through, if it's going to bounce back down. And but it is trying to get to be in a good spot there. So an interesting one. That's for sure. And didn't it just reverse split or something like that? PTPI, I think. Yeah, it just reverse split. So we'll be keeping an eye on that one. I know that. And let's look at that Zap right here. That was trying to run up at yesterday or Friday, Thursday, or someday. Let's see. It was running up Thursday, and then it was trying to run back up Friday, 33 to 60, and it closed at 38. So we can keep an eye on it and just see if it gets out of that basement, if it's really trying to crawl up. Nothing too crazy. And ITP right here, IT Tech Packaging. And this thing ran up, and keep an eye on this to try to run up into the top. It did have that crazy run up right there. 28 to 97, closed at 32. So you have to take a look at that one and see if it can keep that momentum, if it can. And there you go with that list. And let's just keep on cruising right through our laptop travel and Jolie's jumpers. And I hope Asian Jolie's feeling much better. And I hope she's all well and doing good. We'll have to shoot her a message after the show and make sure she's doing well. So thinking about her. And yeah, we'll shoot right through our laptop travel list, our Jolie's jams, and we'll go through our SPY, big caps, and all that good stuff. Crypto's obviously looking good. And we'll see what you guys want to see real quick, and then we'll wrap it up because it is Mother's Day, and I'm sure there's some mothers here that are wanting to go relax and go enjoy the rest of their night. So we don't want to keep people on here. So we will just fly right through on a Mother's Day. So here we go, laptop travels list real quick. ASYS, I'll just cruise right through. And it is a Sunday look anyway, so it's not the end of the day. But this one does have earnings coming up tomorrow. So look at this bad boy as it's setting up with their earnings. What's BuzzFeed up to? BZFD? And that thing's trying to crawl back up. I know it recently ran up a little bit, and it is trying to crawl up. So you could keep an eye on BuzzFeed. That's usually a good one way down there at 186. Sometimes runs with Trump or something. I don't even know, but that looks like it's trying to crawl back up there. And not looking bad for BuzzFeed. And let's see what else is going on with CTRM here. And that was running up last week and on Friday. And that could try to keep some momentum right there. So laptop travel list, look at that, trying to hit the 50. Keep an eye on that one. Marine shipping in Cyprus. Can't even talk, but that one is not looking too bad to try to keep some momentum right there. And FET, Forum Energy Technologies. I know FET is also a crypto coin, but this FET right here is not looking bad. So you might want to keep an eye on that. And I don't remember if it was on the list last week, but it's looking pretty good. And GLBS is Globus Maritime, and this thing is trying to run up here. GLBS right there, and look at that bad boy, 110 to 118. So that's not bad, and it looks like it could try to get through to 50. And again, after a weekend, it's hard to tell. And that's why I said we'll kind of cruise through, and then we could take a look at some of these in the morning or tomorrow. And this GROW is definitely growing up, that U.S. Global Investors, GROW. And let's see, holy cow, GROW. There you go. And like I said, it was growing up there. And look for some momentum at where it's at, closing at that 224 at the high. So look at that one in the morning. And HPK right here, high peak energy's gotten high peaked energy too. So watch that one to continue up, not looking bad. And ISPR, let's see, that one wasn't looking bad. So a lot of these curled up, looking good. Laptop Travel, and like I've been saying, his list is always solid right here. So keep an eye on that. KTCC, let's see what that's doing right here. And that Keytronic is trying to curl. Oh, that one's trying to roll up there too, as a matter of fact. KTCC, look at that bad boy, not looking bad for KTCC. I like that look. And let's see what our KVHI, I think that's what it says. And that looks good as well. So a bunch of good ones right here. KVHI. Oh, yeah, look at that thing getting set up, guys. I would keep an eye on that KVHI. That's looking good in this light bridge right here, LTBR. Here you go. There's light bridge. And don't ask me how I know that's that, but we were talking about not long ago, but I still just, I don't know, I can remember these stupid things. It's amazing. LTBR, and there you go. Maybe a little bit of pullback. It was trying to run around 977 to 1005, back to 973. Maybe get a little bit of pullback to set back up on light bridge, and we'll look at it tomorrow, and that's what it looks like. Nothing crazy. How about Maxon? We haven't looked at that in a while. Maxon Solar or something, Maxion Solar or something like that. And it does have a gray earnings right there, April 30th. And that thing looks like it's trying to get curled up into the channel and looking a little better. And like I said, we haven't looked at Maxon in a while, MAXN. This one used to be a good one, and it's not looking too bad. Like I said, we'll have to look at it and see if it actually wants to start running again. That would be cool. And let's take a look at NHTC right here, Natural Health Trends. That's getting set up right there. So keep an eye on that. NHTC. Yeah, that looks pretty good, I must say. Keep an eye there. 495 to 502, and it closed at that 502. It's not looking bad. ONEW. What is that doing? ONEW right there. Oh, that's curling up right there and looking pretty good. Wow. ONEW. One Water Marine, and this thing looks pretty good. So that thing looks like it does want to get through that MACD. You can look at it tomorrow and see if it does, but it is looking pretty good. And that QRHC right here, Quest Resource, and this thing looks really good, up 7 cents. Earnings coming up on the 12th, which is tomorrow. QRHC. So if you're looking for a momentum play on an earnings, look at QRHC right there. Not bad. And let's see that Riley. What's Riley up to right now? RILY. And he was up to, that one's getting to be in another good spot right there. It ran up, I remember, not long ago. And now it's setting up again. So keep an eye on RILY. And this one is looking pretty good right there. And SGC right here, Superior Group of Companies, and that thing's trying to look superior. SGC, I feel like we looked at this last week, SGC, and it is looking pretty good. That Riley's looking good too, but this SGC is looking set up right there. A little bit of healthy pullback at the maybe I'll look at SGC. We'll see what that does. And SENS, SNES right here is at SensTech. And that's the one I was talking about, that the company like controls the population by non-toxic, whatever the heck they do. What did I say? Birth control. That was it. And yeah, it's pretty cool. I listened to that before, and it was up. Look, we just talked about it. Boom, there you go for SNES. And there you go, at your laptop travel list, not looking bad at all. And how about our Jolie's Jams right here? And again, I hope Asian Jolie's feeling better. That Agrify was running up last week into the top, a little bit of pullback right there. And how about that Blink? That was looking pretty good last week, hitting the 50. They do have earnings tomorrow, so we'll see what's happening with Blink on the earnings right there. And Sezzle was sizzling. It was sizzling, and sizzling. And look at that thing, sizzled and sizzled right into the top. Remember, we were saying it was going to, and there you go. And that one is a cruiser right there for sure. And they do have their options now. I don't think they used to. We've talked about it before. But yeah, that one was sizzling. And here is Sterling coming back down. It was in the top, but it did run up quite a bit. So let's see what it wants to do as it's pulling back out of the top. And Rivian was trying to move, and it wasn't looking bad. Remember, we said Rivian wasn't looking bad, and there you go. And Symbotic right here, SYM. Let's see. That one's actually looking pretty good to try to run up. They had their earnings on the 7th right there. And here we go. It's Symbotic, not looking bad. So keep your eye on that one. And that's your Jolie's Jams right there. And we'll run right through our SPY big caps and our crypto. And I'll see what you guys want to see. And like I said, we'll wrap it up early for Mother's Day. So all the wonderful mothers can go and enjoy the rest of their evening. And we can just kind of get back to life. We'll go back to our pre-market show tomorrow and knock out everything. So I'll go through the messages, but let me cruise right through our SPY, big caps, crypto, and then I'll see what you guys want to see. And then, so if I missed anything, let me know, and I will take a look at it. You guys know that. And like I said, we'll wrap it up as quick as we can so people can enjoy their Mother's Day evening, the rest of it here. So here we go. Here's our SPY, and our futures are up right now, obviously, with all the China trade talk news, which seems to be really nice. So I don't see anything right here. What did it say here? Let's go through Asian stocks, Asian stocks and U.S. futures gain on China trade talks. Stocks dollar up on U.S.-China trade hope, details awaited. Stock futures jump as U.S. and China conclude 2 days of productive trade talks. I always say have a productive day, don't I? On the weekend, they were having a productive day. I've been saying something was going to happen. Something's happening. Dow futures jump 400 points as traders await details on that trade deal on U.S. And remember what I said, which trade deals mattered, the U.S. and then the EU. And Bassett cites substantial progress in trade talks with China. So there you go, guys. And the market's looking good. The futures are up. These are obviously going to reflect what happened basically on Friday. So everything's up and looking good. So we'll obviously be going through them at 7 a.m. on the pre-market. And the 4 o'clock hour is going to be booming at 4 o'clock pre-market. It's going to be wild. So let's go through real quick. We'll look at the SPY, big caps, Mag 7, all these guys. And again, they're probably going to be pretty lit up in the morning. So we'll go through them all in the morning first thing. We'll just see what they look like at the end of the day here before this China news, obviously. And Apple right here was trying to get curled back up. AAPL. And I do think Apple gets ripping again and gets green Apple. So keep an eye on that one to be a good ripper. Amazon's been getting set up. We've been talking about it. And how about Google? That one had pulled back there. It was looking really good in this spot and pulled back. And now it looks like it's pulling back a little bit at the moment. We'll see how that opens tomorrow. But you can see it trying to pull back a little bit. And we'll see what that's doing. And how about Meta's down a little bit? And again, we'll see how these react to the China news, but that could pull back a little bit and not kill it. And Microsoft right here has been up, and this has been in the top, so this one could use a little bit of pullback. So again, we'll see how these react to the China news. I would imagine they're going to be running up there. And NVIDIA has earnings coming up at the end of the month. Remember, I keep saying they're going to be big ones. And this one does look like it had some healthy pullback and should bounce back up. And Tesla right here has been looking good, was running up. And this one looks like it wants to get cruising right here for Tesla. So keep an eye on that one in the morning. But obviously, we'll be watching them all, and they should all be looking pretty good. And that's your Mag 7. Let's look at AMC right here. That one's trying to get set up. They just had their earnings the other day on the 7th, and that was what, Wednesday of last week, and it's been running up, just kind of looking weird. So keep an eye on this AMC. I don't know what's going on here, but something's going on, it looks like. And GameStop right here is looking a little better, bouncing off, but I'm not so sure it gets through that MACD where it's at. It could, it does look a little better, but again, I'm not so sure it gets through there. We'll see what it wants to do tomorrow. Again, they very well could, because there could be ripping in the morning. So everything could be jumped up there with that China news. And let's look at Chewy's been looking good up $1.33, and we've been saying Chewy was looking good, hitting the top. We'll see what happens. And Unity's sitting there, but that one could get rolled up and set up. And if it gets up here, it'll be looking really good for Unity. And then Netflix right here. Let's look at it, down a little bit, but that was in the top. Remember, I told you guys be careful with Netflix. That's probably why. AVGO, these semiconductors have been looking pretty good, so we're gonna have to see how they react to this news tomorrow. AVGO, and that is in the top right there. I mean, it's not in the top, it's getting towards the top, but it kind of just looks like it might come back down a little bit. And like I said, they'd been running up there. And MU, but we will definitely look at them first thing in the morning. And MU looks like it wants to pop up a little bit more right there. And TSM has been looking good, and that thing should be trying to curl back up a little bit better. Looked like it was trying to pull back a hair. And SMCI, I think this thing's getting set up as well. And let's look at that AMD. This thing's been looking good, guys. We were talking about this looking good the other day, and it is running up there a little bit. AMD, let's see. Yeah, that thing's trying to get set up right there for AMD. QCOM right here. This thing was what, ran up and then came back down, and now setting back up in that channel. So we'll see what that wants to do, but that's not looking bad. And again, we'll have to look at all these in the morning, see what they're doing. So we're blasting through them real quick. This is Friday's look. Intel is hitting that 50, and good old PayPal right here. It was run up there, but pull back a hair, nothing crazy. And Snow had been running up a lot, and we'll see it's hitting that top. We'll see if it gets into the top or pulls back. Dell's been getting set up right here. Let's see what the best price is going to be. But Dell looks like it's about to get running, so we'll be keeping an eye on that. Let's see what Dell looks like over here. There we go. Yeah, Dell looks pretty good right there. And PLTR, that's not looking too bad, coming back down on it, but we'll see what it wants to do. As you can tell, it could roll back off, especially if the market's real crazy. That thing, Palantir could get wild again. And Sophie was looking good, just a little healthy pullback right here, nothing crazy. And our Marin Riot are running up. Remember, we said they had looked really good. That's probably why, because they look like they're going to get crazy. And there's that Riot. It was trying to run up, but that one looks like it was trying. Actually, remember Riot? I thought Riot looked a little better than Mara, and I think Riot's going to get that nice run right there now. And now Clean Spark, that one ran up. I know that ran up the other day, and they do look good. Coinbase, not too bad. It was pulling back. I remember it was just running up the other day. And honestly, this one should be trying to get curled up again and ripping. So we'll be keeping an eye on that. And Robinhood right here, we'll see what that's doing. Same situation, had run up there, but they could be setting up as well with the market and everything. So we'll keep an eye on that one. And let's see. And that was Boom Boom Coin DJT. There we go, hitting that it's hitting that resistance. So watch the futures be crazy, and then if it tries to pull back or something weird tomorrow, something odd. But anyway, we'll see how it all opens up. Fun looks pretty good to get set up right there. Fun looks like it wants to get fun. And this Mountain One MTN, this one's actually trying to run up, hitting that resistance. And what's McDonald's doing? That one's all right, just kind of hanging out. Looks like it's going to pull back some. Boeing right here is going up. I remember seeing that last week in that space. That one's setting up a little bit, looking way better than it used to. And IBM was pulling back. So we'll see if that gets pulled back to set up. And how about Disney? Like I told you guys, where that one was going, and it's in the top at 105. So wouldn't really chase it, but that was a beauty. And there's that Oxy looking better, and so is Oxon Mobile. Both of them moving up, not looking bad. And how about Nike right here? That one was down a little bit just in that channel trying to get set up. And DXYZ right here, that Destiny Tech 100. And that one's getting set up, guys. So that looks like it's getting ready to run. So there you go with them bad boys. And then let me run through and see the messages real quick, and then we'll wrap it up so you guys can enjoy the rest of your Mother's Day. And we looked at GNLN for Daniel Lewis. We talked about that in the morning, and that Tesla's 312 in the 312 in the overnight hours. So where was it at? TS. Oh, hold on, guys. Geez, I'm the worst. TSL. What am I doing? TSLA. Wow, that's pretty nice right there. 312. I like that. PSIG might have wheels for a trade, Chris said. Decent fundamentals, positive cash flow, positive cash, low float. CEO is an idiot, and it is in shipping and freight, but someone loaded heavy on Friday. Let's look at PSIG, Mr. Chris, and he said good night. So good night to Chris. And here's PSIG. It was down 7 cents, took a nice dip to the bottom right there. Kind of an interesting one, I won't lie. I would watch PSIG just for a bounce play in the morning, guys. So keep your eye on that and appreciate that, Chris. Bitcoin's up 25% in the last 30 days, and Ethereum's up 62%. And what did I tell you guys what was going to happen? Remember, I was saying it was looking good right there. And we were talking about that GNLN, about them delisting and doing some paperwork and stuff. So we're keeping an eye on GNLN. We'll keep an eye on that tomorrow just to see what it's up to. So just beware of that one. It could be getting delisted and trade OTCs. We're looking at it. So just we'll keep an eye on that to make sure we know what's going on. And semiconductor stocks will rip on the China deal for sure. And then a few AMDs at 106. And we did look at GNLN and LogicMark, DGLY, all in the hot water with the SEC. So even DGLY is. And remember that DMN, that one, what was it? Damon, whatever it was. What was it? DMN, is it not even on there now? Holy cow, I guess they took it off. That's crazy. Let's see. Whoa, what did I just do? DMN, where'd that go? Whoa, I guess they took that right off, huh? So yeah, I guess you got to be very careful with these because clearly it looks like they removed that one, DMN. That's pretty wild. So just be careful with that, and that GNLN could be facing something. And must wait for a dip. Michael Anthony said not sure on that one. And PAP ran hard last year. It runs when it runs. I'm not sure which one that one is. Pfizer fell before the dividend payout could bounce off the 20-day. Let me see. Pfizer, let's look at PFE. PFE right here. And that did take a nice dip down there. That's a real good dip. So I would say that looks like it could be dipping down some more. That's for sure. That could cross down and go down some more right there for Pfizer. And let's see, Doge Mama 9. And you enjoy your Mother's Day celebrations. And let's see, Chris said greasy grease shippers reverse split and dilute savages. They sure do. And that LTBR is going to run. And RGTI, so laptop travel still likes them bad boys. I do like the RGTI. It's up and looking pretty good right there. So we did like that. RGTI is at 1122 in the after overnight on TOS, which is what the heck's it called? What the fuck? I can't even think of it. What the heck is it? I just drew a blank. What is the fuck? Why can't I think of the name of the Trading View? Right? No, is that trading? No, it's not that. What is TOS? I don't even know. I was thinking Trading View, but I'm not even sure. But that's what I was thinking. Anyway, BHAT Deep Soul Diving, but yeah, that RGTI is up right there. And Luis Rodriguez, if you have one, on a Sunday night, let us know. If not, no big deal. I get it on a Sunday night, but then we'll go through the rest of the week and we'll definitely pick like our play of the night. And because clearly, look, our GTI is up, so everybody's probably happy with that one right there. So if you do like one, let us know. If not, we'll check them out tomorrow night and see what we all like as a show and knock it out again. But B hat right here, let's look at it. It was down 22 cents, and that looks like it's dipping down a little bit. Let me see what it's doing here. And you could have it does, I mean, it looks like it's trying to bottom out. I'd almost have to look at that one tomorrow. Deep soul diving. Keep remind me in the morning if you want. I wrote it down if I remember. But yeah, I can look at that in the morning, and let's see what else is going on. EL shot up over $2 in the overnight or in the overnight hours right there, and that's Estee Lauder, so that's up right there. Not sure what Lulu is doing, and yeah, Lulu's at it doesn't even show it. Luis Rodriguez. That's what sucks. Sometimes on Sunday night it would do it during the week, but on Sunday night even this one won't even do it for the most part. Watch. I don't know why they don't, but see, it's still at 280 right there, and yeah, for whatever reason, they won't start cranking in until like 4 a.m. So what? That's just the way it works. I'm not sure why. So that's why I was saying about that earlier. These things are ripping right now, and it's not exactly showing us. So we're obviously going to be going through in the morning and looking at everything. So that's what we'll be checking out. And that's what I was kind of saying at the beginning. Thinkorswim. Thank you very much. Thinkorswim. And that is TOS right there. Thinkorswim. Thank you very much, Luis Rodriguez. And again, let me take a look and see what else Luis Rodriguez did post the earnings. And there's a bunch of them for this week. Obviously, the earnings are continuing here. And let's see, we know that RGTI and Plug and ASTI Space Mobile or AST Space Mobile, Fox, Chegg, Hertz, Blink, and a bunch of other ones. So I'll post that out for us, and you guys can take a quick look at that and see what's going on. What did I just do? Let's see. There we go. And repost that. Let me see. I don't even see anything else. I think we got to everything. Kind of cruised through pretty fast right there, but I wanted to just because it was Mother's Day. Didn't want to keep a bunch of people on a Mother's Day right here. So I thought we would just try to speed through and knock everything out real quick. And obviously, I knew the market was ripping too, and these weren't going to show anything, even though FinViz does show 4 a.m. Again, Sunday night. It's not going to show us that much until tomorrow at 4 a.m. You hop on at 4 a.m., these things will be ripping and showing you the prices. But Thinkorswim does show you the overnight prices there. So you can check that out, of course, and check out and see what's going on in the overnights. And then crypto right there, Bitcoin's at what 104, and it was just a little bit higher, but it's at 104,000 right now. Solana's at like 175 right there. Ethereum's ripping, guys, and I told you guys that would 2,512. That thing's going nuts. Ripple 238 right there, and Cardano's at 81. So things are looking pretty good, I would say. And Doge is at 23.5. So let's just take a quick look and see what that crypto is up to. And then I'll take a quick look. Their little red look right there. They're getting into the top, but not a big deal. And remember, I was saying how Bitcoin looked like it wanted to get into the 100,000 and make a base. So you see it getting into the top, and that's what I was talking about. How far will they want to pull back? You can see them topping out right here. And now they're going to get topped out and really get set up. So I'd say their run's about to start, guys. At least it looks like things are looking pretty good as I just cruise right through. Cardano just creeping into the top right there. And yeah, they're not looking bad at all. There's Chainlink right there, not looking bad. So I'll tell you what, crypto's looking good. And I think it's going to be getting booming real soon. Could pull back a little bit as they top out, but I think after that, it's going to be money. ETF was at a what 661 market cap, I think. Let me look real quick. Take a quick look at that. And it says 6.2 market cap, and it is just stair stepping its way towards that 7 again. And I'm telling you guys, that thing's going to get ripping. So, that thing will be ripping, and a bunch of you guys are in that. I know that. So, you'll be happy with that guy. And I'd say that's a pretty good market review. Let me just make sure I got everything. I think Barbara actually just posted a couple real quick. So, let's take a quick look at them, and then we'll end our night with that. Again, we'll be doing our pre-market at 7 a.m. tomorrow, which we do every morning at 7 a.m. from Monday to Friday, and then we do our night show 9 p.m. on Sunday night to Thursday nights, and we go through the market and obviously call out events, everything. Just kind of wanted to cruise through tonight. China deal, everybody saw that, and I'll tell you about my carnival story in a couple minutes, or I can even tell you tomorrow. It was wild, guys. You saw me posting about it last night. And remember, I was telling you guys they won't even have carnivals anymore, and then people were pulling out guns, and holy cow, it was insane. I mean, they had lined the street like a half a mile with cops, and there people got trampled on. It was a wild scene. So anyway, like I said, I live in a nice town, but there's a lot of bad areas, and that's what happened. 2 towns around us, all the bad it was just like hoodlums came out of nowhere. You could just tell something was going down, and they all just came to fight, and it was a big fight. I'm not gonna lie. I mean, it was huge, and like there was just families like just trying to enjoy their night, little kids, teenagers, and people just getting trampled on. And yeah, you say there's a big fight breaks out, and someone says they got a gun, it's gonna get crazy quick. So wild scene. You never want to be a part of that stuff, and that's what happens at these carnivals nowadays. And like I said, they won't even have that thing next year. I know the chief of police. I know him really well, actually. I grew up with him, and he's done a great job. He just got he's been in the police force forever, but he just got promoted to the chief recently. He's done a great job in town, and I know for a fact he's not going to want to, not that I've talked to him about it, but just knowing how he is, there's no way that he's going to have that thing next year. So he won't even give him the permits to do it. And that'll be that. So unfortunately, that'll probably be the last year of this carnival that they've had for my entire life. That's been a great time. I'm telling you, they were smashing. They smashed through like the window of a store. They were breaking people's car windows. They were breaking into people's houses, breaking their windows. It was insane, guys. And I'm like, that's why you need a gun, because you just never know. And something like that happens. Someone kicks open your door. They'll go flying out down the steps real quick with like a 44 or 45 gauge in them. And then you just walk outside and be like, who's next? Everybody runs the other way real fast. But yeah, I'm nuts. So, but again, they kick in my door. That's what would happen. I was out ready. And luckily, I live in a little back area where they don't even come back here because they can't even figure out how to get back here. Luckily, and yeah, it was completely chaotic. Some of my friends and people I know around here were just like they said they were like scared out of their minds. They were like it was insane. So yeah, it's like it was like the night of the living dead. And they literally had to put the supermarket. They put that on lockdown. They had to put the Wawa on lockdown, and then they went into the next town over and just completely caused chaos over there. This went on until until like 3 in the morning. They couldn't control. There was just so many people. There was thousands of them, and there was just groups of kids everywhere. It's like they between the ages, I would say like 14, 15 to like 19, and it was just insane. Everyone had hoodies and backpacks. It was nuts. And yeah, it's not a scene you want to get involved in, that's for sure. So that's what happens at carnivals. But anyway, let's roll through. Did I even talk about kids? I was just looking at it. So I'm talking about kids. And so here, let's look at kids right here. It was pulling back a little bit. It had that massive run up, and we're looking at it to try to reset up. I know that. And I think it might have to pull back just a little bit. It's trying to make a base. Maybe you get a little lower. We'll look at it tomorrow. It did go up a little in the after hours. It said maybe, I'm not sure, but yeah, we'll look at it. It is going to get set up. I'm just not sure if it's ready tomorrow right there. And CTMX, let's look at that. There we are. And that one had run up pretty good. I remember it was on the list. And they do have, or did they have earnings? Or they do have their earnings tomorrow. And this thing had a wild run up right there, CTMX, and it was running up a little bit the Thursday, and then you got that 129 to 153, and now it looks like it is pulling back on that earnings. So it wasn't the top, and you came out. It could get set up again, but I think you're going to have some pullback right there. And DATS. Let's look at that. Oh, I was gonna say that's definitely not that's DATS. There's that chat right there. And that one is getting set up. I saw this the other day. And this one kind of runs, I think, with a little bit of Trump. And there you go. 271 to 295. It's at 265. Not looking too bad. So we'll keep an eye on it. Could have a little bit of setup time right there. And TAOP right here. Teoping, or however you say it, is that Chinese one, and it did run up. I guess I wasn't watching it, but it does appear that it ran up there Friday from 20 to 33. It's back to 1980, and I'd have to look at that one again. Just with that run up coming back down, looks like it wants to bounce back off, but who the heck knows over the weekend? So I can look at that one if you remind me in the morning as well, Barb. And there you go. As I yawn right at the end of the show. How about that? Good timing. But yeah, I would say the market's going to be ripping, guys, and this isn't going to really show us like everything. And that's why I figured we could roll through fast. And it was Mother's Day. So we will definitely be back on at 7 a.m. You know that we'll be covering the market to see what's going on. Our pick of the week last week, RGTI obviously up doing well. So there you go. Thank you, Luis Rodriguez. And like I said, we'll continue that this week. We won't pick anything tonight. It's a Sunday night. Let's see how things are rolling, and they look like they're all ripping anyway. So we got the RGTI is ripping for us, and that's what we're looking at. So any questions, just let me know. Feel free to shoot me a DM or anything like that. Post a comment, and I'll be honest with you, the comments on X are just crazy anymore. I don't even know if I see everything. So if you think I'm ignoring you, I probably just don't see the messages. It's just bizarre. I like have to go through each one. So look, the notifications don't even come on. I have no idea. It's bizarre, but it's been going on for a couple weeks now. So yeah, if I do miss a message or comment or something, just let me know, and I'll definitely check out whatever you guys want to see. You guys know that. And we look at the scanners, but like I said, we pretty much cover everything. We know everything going on. You can see all of this we've gone through. So we'll look at the scanners in the morning. We'll know exactly what's going on. And that would be a good market review, or getting ready for the market on a Sunday night with the China trade deal talks going on that we were talking about going to happen. And I don't think anybody else was talking about that happening. Were they? You guys let me know. You guys follow everything else. And you guys let me know. Everyone seemed to think I was crazy when I was saying this. I said it on that small cap show. And I even think they might have thought I was nuts on last week. But now everything I said last week pretty much just happened today. So there you go. You guys know. And I kept saying, hey, I'm telling you something's up with the charts. You can tell. So that's what it looked like. And Chris did say this country wouldn't handle a Great Depression 2.0. Morals, pollution, less small farms, and tight communities, unfortunately. Oh, nah, no way, dude. Everybody would kill each other immediately. It's insane. I'm telling you, it is insane. And they can't even have a carnival. So, yeah, you couldn't do much anymore. It's just wild. Like, it's just wild, out of control. And I don't know if it's like that all over the country, but it's definitely like that in my area. And like I said, I live in a pretty good area, and it happens all the time. They had to close down like all the big events and everything. Like they had these big festivals and stuff. They can't have anything anymore because no matter what town they have it in, the same thing happens. It's the same riffraff comes in and they cause like chaos. I mean, literally chaos. And you have families with like little kids and, teenagers just trying to have a good time. And next thing you know, people are pulling out guns. It gets nuts. And you just can't have it happen. And then the police have to deal with that, and they don't want to deal with that. And I don't blame them either. So it's a big nightmare for everybody. So yeah, you just can't do anything anymore like that. Have a big crowd. It just becomes chaotic. Like immediately, everybody, it just becomes violent. I don't know what the heck happens. People are nutty, but yeah, that definitely happened. And Crazy stuff, everybody. But yeah, everybody I think is safe. Nobody I don't think got seriously injured. Like I said, some people definitely got mowed over. There was definitely people getting trampled on. And then they're just fighting, like literally like a big brawl breaks out in the middle of this big like the pretty main road in my town. And like there's like hundreds of kids. I posted the picture, and there's like families just trying to leave the carnival, getting knocked over, chairs are flying, shit's flying everywhere. It was nuts. I'm telling you, it was crazy. And then yeah, someone yelled, they got a gun, and then it got real crazy. So wild stuff, everybody in this country is crazy, but that's what we live in. And there you go, everyone. So I hope you did have a good Mother's Day. Everybody enjoyed that, celebrated that, and we will definitely be back at 7 a.m. to cruise through the market, dissect it. And I don't know if there's going to be much that we need to really dissect. We'll just know it's exactly popping, but they should be popping pretty well. So thank you, everybody, for tuning in. I see Daniel and Valeria and Luis Rodriguez, and of course, Laptop Travel, Chris, and everybody else that was on there, Russ and Michael Anthony, and so many others. And again, hoping Asian Jolie is feeling better, and Barbara. Have a great night, everybody. Doge Mom and 9, Luis Rodriguez, and everybody else. So, yeah, tomorrow we'll be on 7 a.m. in the morning, and then at nighttime, we'll do the show at 9 p.m. We'll go through, we'll pick another stock that we like. Maybe we do it like every 2 days, but we'll definitely be rocking the market together as a community and just crush it just as we did with the RGTI. So, if you are new following along, make sure you follow along on X and YouTube and all that good stuff. And we do the shows daily, so I'm constantly posting, but more importantly, hop on for these live shows, because I don't really post the poppers as much anymore. I think it's more fun to do it on here, and especially now we're going to definitely go through and pick out like a community one that we're going to have fun with. But not only that, I've been changing the list too, so hopefully I have that done for tomorrow, and we'll take a couple of them off and have a little more fun. So keep the show moving and revolving and getting better each time. So there you go, everybody. Thanks again. Hope everyone had a great Mother's Day, and I will catch you guys at 7 a.m. So have a good night, guys, and I will see you guys in the morning. Have a good night.